You know, there's always a time to where trade rumors come up, things are discussed, changes are expected to come with a franchise or your team that you represent, and they losing and they stink. That's how we feel about the Chicago Bulls. One person on the Chicago Bulls, Nikola Vucevic, has addressed some of the trade rumors that has been going on this past offseason. Y'all know we going to talk about it, break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for the daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, ladies and gentlemen. But we about to talk about Nikola Vucevic and his recent comments. Nikola Vucevic, you know what I'm saying, for these past few off seasons, he has said a number of things that I necessarily didn't like, or they was big, oh yeah. You think we don't feel like that type of comments that was coming out of Nikola Vucevic's mouth and being reported in some of these articles or whatnot? And one of the articles is coming from Newsweek. Nikola Vucevic talked about the recent trade speculation that has been going on in the NBA world, and more specifically, the Chicago Bulls. Nikola Vucevic went on to say, I haven't received any information that I'll be traded or anything. Only thing I got is that I'm staying and that they're counting on me. They want me here. If the results have matched the team's quality, we could have had some achievements, and then there wouldn't have been all those stories. We didn't have the season we expected. We didn't reach the goal of making the playoffs. So it's logical that people think about changes and those stories start, end quote. Nikola Vucevic, you are absolutely right. When you don't live up to the expectations, and one simple expectation of making the playoffs, when we thought that we were getting, you know what I'm saying, an all-star big over here, a guy that was going to be able to give us a lot more than what we had experienced before your arrival, we thought you was going to be able to do some things. You, not just you as the individual, but this team. And as the individual, we say, hey, you came in at the middle part of that season that you were traded here, and you looked all right. Then you came out, you had Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and all those other guys rocking with you, and you looked a little better than expected. And then after that Lonzo Ball injury, we pulled out the binoculars and been kind of looking for you, my boy. That's all I'm saying. The expectations from it have been expected, and you haven't lived up to them. Like, for instance, one of the biggest gripes that I have as a fan is that Nikola Vucevic didn't step up when he was absolutely needed. We talking about when Zach LaVine went down, Nikola Vucevic, his numbers pretty much stayed the same. Last season and the prior season in 2022 to 2023, Nikola Vucevic averaged 17.6 points, had 11 rebounds. Zach LaVine goes down. We expecting, or at least me, as one of the guys that say, hey, if one of your stars are down, somebody else got to step up. Nikola Vucevic, your numbers were virtually the same. 18 points, 10 and a half rebounds. That was unacceptable to me. Y'all let me know if y'all feel like that I'm being a little bit too nitpicky. I will accept that. Let me know though. If I'm down a guy, one of the guys that I expect who should understand what the task is at hand and understand the need for our guys, our veteran guys, a guy who is believed to be one of the leaders of the locker room potentially. I don't know, but that's just the outside looking in. I'm expecting some type of production increase. Damn, you couldn't go to 22 points per game? Damn, you couldn't go give me 2 or 3 more rebounds? That's all I'm saying. Because Nikola Vucevic wasn't the guy to step up. It was guys like Kobe White who stepped up. It was guys like Ayo Dosunmu who stepped up. Younger players who don't have the experience and don't have the knowledge that Nikola Vucevic should have when it comes to next man up, especially because how long he's been in the damn league. So that was my biggest gripe. So you are absolutely right, Nikola Vucevic. We are going to talk about it from the fans' perspective. Now, when we talk about the front office, what is the front office plan exactly? I get there has been some type of a pivot towards a more youth movement per se. But the question is what are we going to do? How are we going to not only get better now, but look towards the future? Was that move in acquiring Jalen Smith, saying, hey, this is a young player, you know what I'm saying? He got some experience, not necessarily a starter, but he can potentially give us something. We like what he can bring on the offensive side and the defensive side. Maybe he can go ahead and potentially take the mantle as we move on forward since he's so young and youthful. Maybe. That could be the plan. Or the plan could be, we don't got a plan. We don't have a plan. We're going to sit here and wait and figure it out. We're going to see if Nikola Vucevic can give us something. If he can't give us something, we might give Jalen Smith an opportunity. But if Jalen Smith doesn't give us what we expect out of him, then what? It's a part of the problem that we've seen. Now, the Montes Buzelis selection, I am not mad at. I believe if that's a top 5, a guy who was projected to go to top 5 who fell to 11 to you take that player. But in years past, this is where I feel like the Bulls front office lacked foresight. You had Walker Kessler right there for the taking. You drafted Dalen Terry. That's all I'm saying. It was the Bulls being so comfortable and so naive, in my opinion, that they failed to plan for the future. At that point, when they drafted Dalen Terry, we already knew what Andre Drummond was. We already knew somewhat that DJJ wasn't going to be sticking around long. We already didn't really get Marko Simonovic right on the floor to see if he can bring anything to the NBA game or for our teams more specifically. So they lacked the foresight. So now the Chicago Bulls, when you look at them and Nikola Vucevic deal that currently stands, you could say, and there is a fair discussion to say, it's a favorable deal. You ain't giving out a chunk of money. You are giving up some money. I believe it's 18 mil per. You are giving up some money, but you ain't giving up a ridiculous amount of money. So the train of thought for the Chicago Bulls outside of the fan perspective could be, hey, we feel like his 17-10 is good enough for the team and it makes sense because of the money. I can understand that logically. I can understand that logic if I'm keeping it real with you. I can understand that because I don't think that he's not going to be productive. It's just that the expectations now of ever believing that Nikola Vucevic is going to take a step up, those expectations are gone. But he will be productive if we keeping it a buck. It's just that the fan of me, a lot of the times, and more times than not, maybe 9 times out of 10, want to see him gone. But the message that he's telling us, he might be around until the end of the contract. Okay, fine. But what is his role now? Y'all leaving it up to Billy Donovan again? Or are y'all going to interfere in that? I don't believe they are a front office that's going to interfere with what Billy Donovan is trying to do. However, good front offices and what they do is we need to not only see changes in personnel that we got, we need to see a change in style of play. We need to see a change in how you operate and have rotations going for the squad so we can have the best chance of winning games if that's what the plan is. Does Nikola Vucevic provide that? Possibly. Again, there's still some production there, but right now, the way that I'm looking at it is that the Bulls should be looking at what's going to be present for them in the future. Because what is the solution? What is the solution right now with the big man spot? Is it banking on Jalen Smith? Is it waiting on Nikola Vucevic contract to end? Are you going to take a bite at the apple in this year's draft? Are you going to sit there and ensure that you don't give up your protected pick in next year's draft? Is that what you're going to do? Because what is the plan? And I understand that Nikola Vucevic, you say you ain't heard none of these things that happen all the time, but I believe if you talk to a Bulls fan, they want to see you gone. They want to see you gone, big dog. And it's not because we keeping it a buck. It's not going to be many people that's going to say Nikola Vucevic is absolute dumpster juice. It's gonna, if we thinking logically, we're going to be like, he can give you something. He ain't the worst of the worst. He all right. It's just not good enough. But I do, in a way, want to end it with this. I do feel like the Bulls backed themselves into a corner and they don't have a choice but to keep Nikola Vucevic around just for a little bit longer. Just for a little bit longer. And the reason is because if you trade Nikola Vucevic right now, you telling me you about to pick up Valanciunas off the street? Willie Cauley-Stein off the street? Some other bigs that we don't really know nothing about, or they're going to be nowhere near the production of a Nikola Vucevic. I'm being fair. It ain't too many great options right there out there for the center market, for centers out there on the free agency market. That's just the facts. Unless we saying Jalen Smith is the guy. How do we know if he's the guy if we ain't seen no games? So the Bulls are going to have to sit there in that corner and wait. Take all the punches that they can take until games will start being played, and then they can start swinging back to see if Jalen Smith is the guy that they can be like, okay, boom, he's a piece that we can use for the future. Now we can potentially move Nikola Vucevic, potentially. But as of right now, the Bulls are stuck with Nikola Vucevic. So when he comes out and says that I ain't heard nothing, they want me to be here, I believe he's telling the truth simply based off the Bulls don't have that many options right now when it comes to the center spot. You don't know about Adama Sanogo, and I don't expect him to play many games. That's just me. You don't know what you're getting out of Jalen Smith. He's a young guy with maybe some type of upside. You know what I'm saying? Maybe can take a step forward, can shoot the three, can offer some things defensively, some things, but you want to see it on a more consistent basis before you commit. Then you got Nikola Vucevic. Then you got the free agent market. Who you going to get? If you execute a trade, are you getting another big back? Maybe another big back. big back. That's totally off topic. But are you getting another big back in that trade that's going to give you something close to Nikola Vucevic's production? Possibly. But there's nothing for certain when you execute these trades. And for somebody to look at this and somebody to look at Nikola Vucevic's, you know what I'm saying, contract, they say, okay, we can work with it. We can make something happen with the production. We're going 18 and 10 per game. But shouldn't the objective switch to being more draft pick hunting at that point? Because it ain't much coming back, in my opinion. I could totally be wrong. But if more is going to come back, that means more has to be given up. And what do you want to give up? Nikola Vucevic is here to stay, y'all. Just a little bit longer because the Bulls backed themselves into a corner. But hey, that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode. Make sure you hit that like button. You subscribe to the channel before you get up out of here. We're trying to get to 7K before the start of the season. We are a little bit over 200 to get there. So subscribe. If you want to be a part of our mailbag episodes, call in and leave your take on anything Chicago Bulls. The number to call is 773-242-9219. Thank y'all so much. Always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.